Hello everyone and welcome back to the chassis variant series, myself Critical Rocket, and here we are with the Shadowhawk 5D. This was a Davion upgrade of the venerable Shadowhawk, trying to make it much more viable using some of the new technologies that had become available in the later years. Basically, it involves removing the LRM system entirely, replacing the AC5 with a rotary version, keeping two medium lasers, one in each arm, and replacing the SRM that was usually located in the head of a Streak 4 model. Essentially, it gives the mech rapid fire capability with some nasty medium range combat capabilities as well. And very few mechs I have use rotary, so it was pretty fun to have another mech variant out there that can use them. It would have been one of those mechs that would have been nice to have seen added as a freebie update, just a new variant added into the list to keep things interesting by PGI, but yeah, when the Shadowhawk originally came in, obviously rotaries were not a thing. So, it was originally introduced in Project Phoenix, which was FASA's slash WizKids Fan Pro kind of era, where they wanted to obviously reuse a lot of these designs or mechs that were counted as unseen at the time, and they wanted to bring them back and keep them in use in the later fiction. And as the timeline was going forward, so what they did was they created Technical Readout Project Phoenix, which redesigned a lot of the mechs visually, quite significantly as well. It was a very big departure from what was counted as the de facto, what people remembered. And most of these designs were fairly ugly. Like they weren't great looking, unfortunately. They looked mostly pants. You only have to look at like some of the horrendous things that were done to like the Phoenix Hawk, for instance. The unseen version is far superior to the re-seen versions and then new scenes, and the Project Phoenix ones are all bad in my opinion. They all look terrible, but basically it was the idea of bringing back things like the Locust, the Wasp, the Stinger, all those classics, and still keeping them in fiction but being able to still use them. And yeah, this was the result. The 5D was the Shadowhawk version that was introduced. Build-wise though, it's pretty good. The Rotary 5 is, always good. Rotaries are bastards to encounter. If you're up against them, they're horrible. If you're using them, they're tons of fun. That's the difference. I always felt rotaries were going to be one of those weapons that were just going to be brutal. I remember going a while back now when I made the video talking about the new weapons, having a look at them, firing them all in the testing grounds and stuff. And yeah, I remember saying back then that rotaries were going to be nasty. And yeah, that was the end result. Yeah, there was a lot of people at the time were saying that they won't be that big a deal because the DPS is so low compared to standard ACs. And lo and behold, what happens, people realise, oh, if I can have a couple of rotaries, I can just blind somebody and just do tons of damage very quickly. And yeah, that's what ended up happening. It's no shortage of Innisphere assault mechs that boat rotary 2s, a few rotary 5s, that kind of thing. We've seen some of the horrendously powerful builds that can come out of them, especially on mechs like the Bushwhacker, for instance, can do really good damage with rotaries alone. So yeah, it's a very powerful weapon system, a big upgrade for the Shadowhawk. The ER mediums are also a nice upgrade, just letting it touch a little bit further. The only downside, I think, of the whole thing is probably the Streak 4. Rate of fire with streaks, I think, is always better than just having more missiles per streak launcher, unless you can boat multiple of the same type. 2 Streak 4s probably would be better, but it's not really that much of an issue, because you rarely get to fire it anyway, because enemies tend not to get that close to you. Build-wise for me, for this, the tricky part with this was that the ammo is actually quite low. I believe it's normally 2 ton of ammo for the Rotary 5 and a ton of ammo for the Streak 4, which in MechWarrior Online world doesn't last very long as far as the Rotary is concerned. The ton is fine for the Streak 4 because you firing 100 SRMs probably doesn't happen in your average match anyway, so a single ton's probably good. But yeah, you definitely need at least 3 ton, I think, for a Rotary to be viable, because you just want to keep firing it all the time. Obviously the skills to upgrade the amount of ammo per ton is useful as well, but I had to sort of squeeze a few extra bits and pieces here and there, drop some armour on the legs, I think, just to give me an extra ton or half a ton, just for a tiny bit more ammo. And yeah, it does make it viable though. The build is fun. I mean, one of the other things you can do is remove the jump jets. Nearly every Shadowhawk comes with jump jets as standard. This is also supposed to have a full head ejection system as well, so yeah, luckily that isn't something you have to really pay attention to. Damage was quite good though. I mean, for me it was quite good anyway. I quite enjoyed the build. As I said, it's always fun running rotaries, and I think in total stock mechs that I have of rotaries might equal 3 at the moment. So yeah, I don't get to use them a lot, but when I do, they are a lot of fun. It's a bit like MRMs as well. Not many mechs that come standard with MRMs, so yeah. Oh, that's pretty much the end of that round. Just got this poor bastard running around with his medium laser. Sorry about any motion sickness there at the end from the wheelie camera he was doing. So yeah, that was another round. The Shadowhawk 5D, the Project Phoenix Shadowhawk. Or the Davion upgrade in the later years. So yeah. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Have a good week. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.